often have you found yourself on a discovery call that's going really well until the part where you talk about your price and the potential client says your price is too high? In that moment, you may also be doubting yourself a little bit. Maybe you're questioning, is my price too high? Well, what I'm going to share with you today are the 4 exact tips that I use to handle that part of a conversation where somebody says your price is too high. This is what I use. This is what I teach my clients. This is how my clients have gotten to consistent 10K months by learning how to handle this part of the conversation. A quick little story for you. My dad recently asked me about the work that I do. And when I started sharing it with him, he was a little too distracted to pay attention. And in my mind, I thought, people pay me a lot of money to talk about this kind of stuff. But you know what? In that moment, to my dad, it wasn't valuable. That doesn't mean that what I was sharing wasn't valuable. It means it wasn't valuable to him. He was just being a good dad, trying to ask me questions to start a conversation. That doesn't mean that there aren't a lot of people willing to pay me a lot of money to share what I know because it's valuable to them. So first and foremost, don't let anybody else's opinion impact the value of what you offer. It just might not be for them, and that's okay. But you know what it is. You know what it includes. You know how transformational it is for somebody else's life. So you've got to have that you're welcome mentality. Like, I took all of these things that I learned through the pain that I experienced and I put them together in this package to sell to you. You're welcome. All right, tip number 2. I want you to isolate the objection. What that means is when somebody says, ooh, this feels too expensive, I want you to first find out if that's the only thing that's holding them back from wanting to work with you. So if somebody says, oh, that feels really expensive, you can say, just out of curiosity, if it weren't for the price, would this be a yes for you right now? You want to find out, is there any other reason they might not want to work with you? And once you know that that's the only thing, then you just have one thing to work on, one thing to help them through making a decision about. So one of the ways that you can respond to that when somebody says, this feels too expensive, you can very simply say, what makes you say that? So let me give you a quick example. If I'm charging $5 for a bottle of water and you're standing in a room where there's a drinking fountain behind you and there's a refrigerator stocked full of bottled water that you can access for free, then $5 for a bottle of water seems too expensive. There's no value there. The person doesn't need it. They're not seeing a need for it because they already think that they have access to what they need. So $5 for a bottle of water doesn't make sense. But if you're in the middle of a desert, there's no access to water, no bottles of water, that's the only bottle of water in their existence. All of a sudden, $5 doesn't seem too expensive. So your job is to figure out, what are they comparing it to? What is the measuring stick? Explore with them by asking good questions. That dances us right into creating that gap, widening that gap even more. Here's where they are, here's where they want to be, and the opportunity that your program offers to bridge that gap. And so what you've done is you've shown them what they've tried and invested time, money, energy, and focus into isn't working. And ultimately where they want to be is what your program helps them achieve. And it fills in all the pieces that they haven't gotten from any of their other solutions. That's where your program needs to show value, is it's doing something that they've never had before. It's giving them an experience that they have not tried up to this point. Because if all you're doing is offering the same things that they've already tried, then there isn't value there for them. You haven't differentiated yourself. So your job is to create that gap between where they are and where they want to be so that you can help them see your program bridges that gap and it offers them solutions and opportunities and support that they have not been able to get up to this point. And if you want to learn more about how to create that gap, how to weave that in and do that throughout your entire call, then check out my video, How to Improve Your Discovery Calls in 12 Minutes, right here.